Let me tell you why the NotSwap is one of the worst decisions Bungie has ever made for a contest mod in Destiny 2. Hi everyone, this is Firex and welcome to my very first video in English on this channel. I'd like this video to be understood by as many people as possible, so please don't judge me too harshly even though I don't really care, but anyway, let's get started. The NotSwap first appeared with the Wreath of the Night event before the release of the Age of Fate DLC. At that time, the NotSwap would remove your abilities and your super whenever you swapped between exotic armors. For example, switching from an exotic class item to a Titan's Cuirass of the Falling Star. I'm not 100% sure whether it also removed special and heavy ammo, but either way, it was a bit annoying. Personally, I found the modifier awkward and poorly implemented, because it didn't actually prevent loadout swapping. For example, if you played Warlock, nothing stopped you from dropping a Well of Radiance, swapping to Sanguine and becoming one of the top DPS players on your team. This raid was extremely difficult for a huge proportion of the player base, really tough, but I feel like most people forget a lot of details about it. Did you forget how buggy the game was at that time? Did you forget that weapons like Outbreak Perfected, Gant Overture, or Boots of the Assembler were disabled? Did you forget that most teams were using the wrong strategy for Corrigo's final stand? If only a few more items had been usable, I honestly believe the world's first would have gone down much quicker. Many people point fingers saying the raid was impossible without hardcore loadout swapping or without using illegal armor pieces. That's completely false. Plenty of teams managed to clear the raid without relying on loadout swaps. Now that we've covered that, let's look at the new version of the NotSwap in the Epic Raid, because yes, it has changed. And in my opinion, it's even more problematic and inconsistent than before. The updated NotSwap now triggers whenever you swap exotic armor, legendary armor, or even weapon armor types, so going from a primary weapon to a special weapon, or vice versa. When the NotSwap activates, it wipes your special and heavy ammo, your abilities, your super power orbs, and ammo breaks on the ground. This means you can't even use shoot to loot if NotSwap is active. Why is this a problem? You might ask. Well, Bungie has made it clear they don't like loadout swapping because it makes the game too easy, and I totally get that. I agree with them, but is NotSwap really the best solution? I don't think so at all. Why not just lock loadouts the way they do in Grandmaster Nightfalls once the encounter begins? Hunters, for example, are extremely dependent on loadout swaps. How are they supposed to adapt in this situation? I've heard Bungie explain they want us to make choices with our loadouts. Do we optimize survivability at the cost of both DPS? Or do we optimize DPS at the cost of survivability? I understand that, and I agree, but how does the NotSwap actually enforce those choices? If I can still change my mods without touching my armor, I can optimize both survivability and DPS depending on the encounter. I think you can see why the NotSwap is a really bad idea. It's going to hurt the fun of contest mod raid launches rather than improve them. Destiny 2 has tons of exotic pieces that are useless 99% of the time and only valuable in very specific situations. Is the NotSwap really a good idea in that context? That's the end of this video. It's short, I know, but I needed to put this together so I could explain my point as clearly as possible. Maybe I'll make more videos in English in the future, but first I definitely need to improve my English. Have a great day and see you next time.